Here's the audience.
I will be using my cell phone as a clicker for the presentation. Today we will be talking about what it takes to create a denture. Dentures have been around since 700 BC. A complete denture is a prosthetic that replaces all of one's natural teeth. A lot of people don't consider a denture to be a prosthetic because most people associate a prosthetic with a fake arm or a fake leg, but since this is something that replaces someone's natural teeth, it is considered a prosthesis. There are 4 steps in the denture process. Unfortunately, some people are not blessed with having a healthy smile, and so a denture has come a long way to provide a smile for patients that are in need of having their teeth removed, or they already are missing teeth, or they have periodontal disease. The 4 steps that it takes to create a denture are impressions, wax bite, wax try-in, and delivery. The impressions is a catalyst and base. You start with a powder, you add in liquid, and once it's mixed up, you have about 15 seconds to get it in the tray and in the patient's mouth. It's very important that you take an accurate impression of the patient's mouth because it's going to be what you make the denture from. Quote, most of the alginate materials are relatively unstable, therefore the stone should be poured into the impression to make the cast as soon as possible, preferably within 15 minutes after removing the impression from the mouth, end quote. And that is from Michael McEntee. The stone cast is what is poured into this impression so that we can fabricate the denture off of it. Here you have a picture of the impression. The stone is poured into it, it's set up, and this is what it looks like after the stone has set up. The second step is what is called a wax bite. The formal definition of a wax bite is a, quote, wax bite produces a reproduction of the occlusal relationship of the maxillary and mandibular teeth when the mouth is occluded, end quote. And that is from Modern Dental Assisting. Once the stone has set up, we take wax rinse and insert that onto the stone, and then we take that, heat it up, put it in the patient's mouth, mark where the middle of the mouth is so that the lab tech knows where to place teeth, and then we articulate the bite, which is a fancy way of saying we measure where the patient's natural chew is so that they will have proper function. This wax bite provides a guide for the lab technician of where to put teeth. The third step is the wax try-in. This is the last step before processing. Once we have taken the wax try out of the wax bite out of the patient's mouth, this goes back to the denture and the articulator. The lab tech knows exactly where to place the teeth according to where the middle of the mouth is and where the patient chews, and he knows exactly how far apart they need to be. This is the trial run for the patient. We tell our patients to look for 4 things. That's the color, size, shape, and position of the teeth. While the teeth are still molded in wax, we can still move them according to the patient's wants or desires. Once we process it and it's acrylic, we don't have that ability. So if the patient approves of the appearance and the doctor approves of the function, the lab tech has the green light to go. So while the patient is looking at the appearance and the aesthetics of the teeth, our doctor is looking for function. If the patient bites down and the teeth don't go all the way around and close properly, we know that something's off and we need to fix it. So if one side is higher than the other, it will show up in this wax bite so we can fix the problem before it becomes a problem for the patient. The last step is delivery. That's my favorite. We get to help patients go from a smile that they were not confident with to a smile that they are very confident with. You can see that we restore smiles from gross decay to patients that don't have teeth at all into a smile that they are confident in and able to have pride in showing people. So in conclusion, the denture process is only 4 steps. It seems like with it only having 4 steps that maybe some steps aren't necessary, but in fact each of the steps are very vital to the creation of a complete denture. If we skipped even one of the steps, the denture would not turn out as accurate as it would be if we had taken the time to do all of them. There is one exception to this rule, and that is if a patient is having a full mouth of extractions, we can take just one impression and fabricate the denture from that because the patient has natural teeth that will show up in the cast model that we can articulate the chewing function from the stone. A denture provides the ability to chew food, talk properly, properly and smile with confidence. Working with denture patients can be so rewarding. I always try to be the reason that someone smiles every day. And a quote from Wang of Consumer Research sums this up by saying, "A substantial amount of research suggests that smiles are powerful social forces that positively influence interpersonal judgments in a myriad of ways," end quote. And my sources page. And then I have a separate page for my photo sources.